The crack of the beats, the smell of the drinks, the thrill of a buzzer beater, the heroes, the underdogs, the moments you remember forever. Join me, Bob Stu, and the most interesting guests in sports for the all-new Rise and Shine.
Download Rise and Shine right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. That's SCHEIN.
AKA the Beast from I Am Athlete.
And this is Ashley Nicole Moss. Every weekday, hear us talking sports, culture, and more with Taper Out on the I Am Athlete podcast feed. There isn't anybody who has a chemistry quite like myself and Brandon Marshall.
That's what makes all of these shows great, is the personalities. Check us out every weekday on YouTube or download Paper Route as part of the I Am Athlete podcast feed on the SXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
On Sirius XM College Sports Radio. You know, I'm excited about this track. From the best analysis to the top prospects. Touchdown, Caleb Williams. Touchdown, USC. And the coaches who coach them. Ryan Day, head coach of Ohio State.
There's always urgency at Ohio State and in Columbus and Buckeye Nation.
We've got you covered before, during, and after the NFL draft in Detroit. It's all on Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84, and the all-new Sirius XM app. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Be part of the buzzworthy moments with Andy Cohen.
Kelly Clarkson, I do want to do a duet with you.
No nonsense advice with Dr. Laura.
Is this advice that he asked you for? No. Then shut the hell up.
Unparalleled wit and A-list interviews with Conan O'Brien.
Billie Eilish.
How loud can you shout?
You haven't even heard it.
That's why I'm asking.
Don't miss an exclusive moment on SiriusXM.
Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly and activate your radio. If you haven't subscribed to SiriusXM yet, you're missing out on over 140 channels of sports, news, talk, and entertainment, plus commercial-free music. Get play-by-play from your teams, your favorite music, commercial-free, and personalities like Howard Stern, no matter where you live. Unlock it all now. Activate your radio by visiting www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it.
When thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at EquityZoneMortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 0181486.
Grando Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! You know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, you guys voted for me to be your neighborhood spokesperson, so you get what you get, and that's what it is. I want to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you. And hopefully he didn't split you too wide. But even if he did, we think we can help on a beautiful April 24th, 2024. I want to say thank you for following Big C Sports. I got some NBA basketball coming to you. Also, the Chicago Bears they've announced that they have a new stadium about 30 miles away from the old Soldier Field. That's coming up in a few years. They just need $5 billion to get that done. Also got some NFL draft coming up. There's a lot of good boys. The draft starts tomorrow, and a lot of college football players will try to get their groove back. Also, some news on USC football. They're saying Reggie Bush are going to be one of the top running backs ever to play at USC, along with the late O.J. Simpson, as well as Mike Garrett, Sam Bam Cunningham. You gotta add in Linda White, but I gotta say that Reggie Bush is pretty spectacular. Milady Strike, they're trying to get that good old boy his trophy back, and all's fair and level. Where I want to say with Big C Sports Podcast, I produce the show, I direct the topics, I broadcast all the shows, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I can use more laughter. And then the commercials are done. The stats are provided. The storyteller. I even do the play-by-play. Jason Tatum 4-3. Get the hole. Yes! Boston Celtics, they're taking on the Miami Heat. And TD Gardens in Boston tonight trying to increase their lead. And then we have the New Orleans Pelicans. They have the OKC Thunder trying to tie that series up. But we don't know because the Thunders are they're pretty tough out for the New Orleans Pelicans to try to get on top of that mountain, if that makes sense to you. But I look forward to bringing it to you on Big C Sports Podcast. And then, as I always say, every show is uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City, and I'm in Dimdare Hills, California. And then 4 TV platforms streaming: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon and Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. And then, as I always say, I've never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the day at Salem Media. And I really do appreciate the way things have grown. I got to say something that maybe all of the pundits that talk about touchdown, home run, 3-point play, oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. You know, I want to go all the way with the Veterans Crisis Hotline because a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone and call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And it's nice when somebody's leaning back, if that makes sense to you. I really do appreciate that. I want to say I love doing what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. I think I'm the only sports show in the universe that champions reparations on every show. And I want to have it sweep the nation just like I do my ABCs. Now, I might make a mistake, but it's not if I get it right or not. It's the effort that counts. You can sing it with me. You probably already know it. Come on, guys. On the count of 3, I want you to do your best and just sing along with me. Ready, set, go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Now, see, that may seem like it's easy, but I was under pressure. I was under a lot of pressure because if I screwed up, everybody in the universe, they would have said, man, he called himself Big C, but he don't know his ABCs. Well, I think I got an A+ on my ABCs. But what I want you to do, that's just as easy as singing your ABCs. I want you to follow this new mantra that I want to sing with you. You can only hear it on Big C Sports. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Reparations now, reparations forever. But that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I got some stuff I got to tell you that happened in California today with California, because when I talk about the Reparations Task Force, I want to say what separates Big C Sports Podcast from any other sports show: ESPN, Fox Sports, NBC Sports, ABC Sports, CBS Sports. They all have their own thing, and there's nothing wrong with the way people do things. But imagine if we could get our beautiful, intelligent black men and women to put as much emphasis on paying back our ancestry and our future generations and even contemporary folks on what was robbed. Imagine if we put the same energy into paying back what is owed to us. You know, if you go to a store and you want to buy some gas, and because gas prices are so high, you say, I want to get $5 on pump 3. They say, excuse me, sir? I said $5 on pump 3. Did you say 5? Yeah, 5. on pump 3. They say, okay. Because that's what I saw somebody do before I went and got $7 on pump 3. You know, they don't repeat what you say when you want $50 on pump 3. But the good old boy, he wanted $5 on pump 3. And the attendant said, excuse me, sir, did you say 5? He said, yeah, 5 on pump 3. Because times are tough in them their heels. And this is why I want to say reparations now, reparations forever. If we could cheer for reparations, maybe the next time you cheer so loud, you can cheer for good old boys that actually get paid as opposed to just getting slayed, if that makes sense to you. I want to do that part because that's important to me. I know we love LeBron James for 3. Get the hole. Yes! I love basketball. I love football. I love baseball. I'm going to talk more about the football, the NFL draft guys coming up. But at the same time, our country was robbed. I don't care who you are. If anybody gets robbed, they call 911 and they want to tell the police, I've been robbed. And then the police show up and they say, well, who robbed you? You have any videotape, any security cameras? How about let's talk to the neighbors? Do they have any security cameras? Did the neighbors see anything? What the person looked like? He was red, white, and blue. He was red, white, and blue. Yeah, called the United States of America. Because that's who sanctioned chattel slavery, the United States of America. See, everybody knows who did it. Oh, Big C, I thought you were going to tell me about the game. I am going to tell you about the game, but I'm the only one. I challenge any other black man and black woman, beautiful, intelligent African Americans, and white people too. You want to tell me what's going on with the POTUS trial? You want to talk about what happened with Trump? And people want to make Trump, they want to make him pay the price for what he did in the past. And they got people on television covering POTUS 45 because of what he did in the past. If POTUS was to use the same argument that Congress uses to not pay reparations to descendants of chattel slavery, he can say, oh, you know what I did was a long time ago. He can say what he did was a long time ago. Why would I have to pay the price for what I did a long time ago? Because that's the argument they use for not paying reparations. I'm going to tell you something because I love it. Because the things that I've been talking about that God has guided me to with Big C Sports Podcast, I still want that $1 billion. And I'm going to get the $1 billion. At the same time, what does that do for all of us? Because when I talked about the show today, and what I'm going to talk about, LeBron James for 3. Yes, get the hole. Imagine when we had that same passion for honoring our ancestry that was robbed. Again, so much energy and effort is going into POTUS 45. He's on trial, not for what he did tomorrow, but what he did in the past. They're making him pay for what he did in the past. And when it comes to reparations, oh, we didn't want to talk about the past, Big C. But if they put that same energy into paying back what was never paid out to descendants of chattel slavery, African Americans, black people, you know, we had that same energy and passion for what happened, maybe we would have already gotten reparations. So if POTUS can be on trial for 91 indictments for what was accused of doing in the past, or slavery, and that was in the past, wasn't it? So you mean things that you've done in the past, if you were harmed, you can get payback and restitution from the court? Of course you can. So let's have that same intelligent passion for the descendants of chattel slavery. Because I'm going to talk to you about some things that make so much sense. May like this strike. It makes so much sense. And I want people to understand that it's not just me. Because I was told many times, Big C, you going to sound like a fool. Talk about reparations. But I don't sound like a fool. I don't. I got some things I want to bring up today that just happened today. That's why I'm so confident in doing what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. And then I'm going to bring up a commercial that I've been working on with Big C Sports Podcast. You can't make this stuff up. I'm going to get into some college football, and I'm going to talk about some things also that happened with NBA basketball, because I know you can't wait to stand up for the tip-off. But this is so important to me because these things are coming out as we're talking about it. It's not just me. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I want other people to be passionate about it too. If I'm doing it by myself, then I might sound like a fool. But I don't sound like a fool. I want to say it because it's so important. I feel it in my heart, mind, body, and soul. And when I say this to you, you can Google it for yourself. And you can't say that I haven't been talking about it. That's why it's so important. I don't want to sound like a fool. Listen up. The California State Judiciary, it passes a bill to create reparations-focused Freedmen's Affairs Agency. April 23rd, 2024. Written by Ann Brown. It's so important. It talks about reparations. The California Senate Judiciary Committee has approved a bill to establish the California American Freedmen's Affairs Agency to facilitate reparations programs for Californians. Senator Stephen Bradford, Democrat of Gardenia, he authored the bill. You know what's important about that for me to say that with BC Sports Podcast? I've met with him several times in his office, and I've also met with him at the California Reparations Task Force. If I was just someone that say, reparations now, reparations forever, then maybe I would sound like a fool. But this is so important because it came out yesterday. He authored the bill, which is known as Senate Bill 1403. During a recent committee session earlier this month, it received an 8-1 vote in favor with 2 abstentions. Senate Bill 1403, it seeks to create the California American Freedmen's Affairs Agency within the state government under the governance of a secretary appointed by the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. This agency would be tasked with implementing recommendations from the Reparations Task Force that's only talked about on BC Sports Podcast when I pay homage to them. Confirming an individual's status as a descendant and overseeing benefits authorized by the state for descendants of enslaved individuals. Not only that, the bill mandates the establishment of a genealogy office and an office of legal affairs within the agency to facilitate these processes. I know you want to go, touchdown, home run, 3-point play, old man Willie, he's going all the way. But think about this, the approval of SB1403 marks a significant step forward in the legislative effort surrounding reparations now, reparations forever, that you always hear about on BC Sports, particularly in the light of the final recommendations by the California Reparations Task Force. The California Globe report, despite the passage of SB 1403 in the Senate Judiciary, the bill is expected to face some scrutiny as it moves to the Senate Governmental Organization Committee for further consideration. The creation of the California Freedmen's Affairs Agency, it represents one of several key recommendations from the task force to study and develop reparations now, reparations forever. Get the hole in your life. Reparations proposals for African Americans, emphasizing the need for comprehensive and targeted measures to address historical injustices. You only hear that on BC Sports. So California Senator Stephen Bradford, he emphasized the importance of this measure, describing it as a long overdue step for California and the nation. Camila Moore, the chair of the Reparations Task Force. I'm going to tell you something. This is not just BC Sports Podcast talking. I'm not just talking. I want you to hear this because it's bigger than me. It's much bigger than me. In fact, it's for everybody. Camila Moore, who chaired the historic California Reparations Task Force, emphasized the persistent disparities experienced by descendants of enslaved individuals, supported by compelling statistics that underscore the critical necessity for focused interventions. And she tweeted in a meaningful victory today, the California Senate Judiciary Committee It passed SB 1403, aiming to establish the California American Freedmen's Affairs Agency in an 8-1 vote. In my testimony as chair of the California Reparations Task Force, this achievement on what would have been Paul Robeson's 126th birthday is deeply significant. As a fellow Columbia Law School alum, she says she drew inspiration from Robeson's bold legacy, especially his charge against the United States for genocide against the descendants of slaves at the United Nations. Our efforts continue in the spirit of his unwavering commitment to justice. Thank you, Senator Bradford, for the opportunity to testify before this esteemed committee. You got to give that some praise. It's not just BC Sports Podcast. That is so powerful. Could you imagine when we get our other beautiful, intelligent black media, entertainers, and athletes to champion what California Senator Stephen Bradford's doing? It's a lot bigger than LeBron James for 3. Get the hole, yes, in your life. That same passion that we attack sports and entertainment. I want you to hear something in her words.
And I am privileged to have served as the chair of the California Reparations Task Force. Today, I advocate with a sense of urgency and purpose for the passage of SB 1403, a groundbreaking bill poised to establish the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency. This agency symbolizes a crucial stride towards reparatory justice, particularly for those whose lineage traces back to enslaved ancestors. Like Senator Bradford said, through rigorous research, the California Task Force has unveiled harrowing disparities that descendants of slaves still face in California, painting a stark picture in inequality across multiple sectors. For example, descendants of slaves, families, their median net worth of wealth languishes at less than 0.1% of white families, exposing systemic economic barriers. In terms of businesses, entrepreneurs who are descendants of slaves are 3 times more likely to be denied bank loans than their peers, crippling potential for growth and innovation. In terms of health, infants who are descendants of slaves are more likely to die at double the rate of their first birthday than their counterparts, highlighting glaring inequities in health across health access and outcomes. These statistics are not mere numbers, but reflect real lives diminished by systemic injustices, a legacy of slavery and systemic discrimination perpetuated by the state of California. And so this agency seeks to dismantle these barriers, advocating for and implementing reparation measures that address these deep-rooted disparities. The agency, also I would note that the Berkeley Intergovernmental Studies poll indicates that, yes, 59% of Californians oppose direct cash payments. But that same exact survey reveals a broader consensus for action. A majority believe that the state has not done enough for descendants of slaves in this state. And 60% of those polled acknowledge that the enduring impact of slavery still impacts the lives of descendants today. Yes, I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you
very much.
In your life! Listen to this.
Seeing no one else approach the microphone. If you're in support, please approach the microphone and provide us your name, your affiliation, your position on the bill.
Big C Sports Podcast. I support the bill. SB 1403.
Good afternoon, Chris Lodson, Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, on behalf of the American Redress Coalition of California, Sacramento, American Redress Coalition of California, Bay Area, the California Black Lineage Society, the Lineage Equity and Advancement Project, all in strong support.
Thank you.
Elsie Lyles with the Bay Area Regional Health Inequities Initiative and strong support.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Kim Mims with Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, American Redress Coalition of California, ARC Sacramento, and Amend the Mass Media in strong support. I urge and I vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. Darlene Crumity, member of the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, a member of the American Redress Coalition of California Bay Area, and I am strongly in support of SB 1403. Thank you.
In your life! So it's not just Big C Sports Podcast. And this is what I love about reparations, because more people are talking about it now. It's not just me. If it were just me, then I could feel pretty sad. But I don't feel sad because there's a lot of smart people that are a part of that. And now I've been talking about it with every Big C Sports podcast, and that's what I love doing on my program. I don't want to be just somebody who's talking about touchdown, home run, 3-point play in your life. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. That just happened, folks, on April 23rd. That, to me, means that I'm in alignment with something that's going on in the universe. Imagine if more of us, as descendants of child of slavery, that we spend time honoring those who are fighting for the right thing. And I'm telling you, not only am I fighting for the right thing, in the old days, people would march. They march up and down the street. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Senator Bradford, he's not marching up and down the street. You know what he's doing? Because he understands the pen is mightier than the sword. He's putting legislation in place to be voted on. You can Google it, Senate Bill 1403. That's so important in the getting for reparations for descendants of child of slavery, for people that say, oh, it's never going to happen. They just haven't been paying attention. And I'm going to tell you, not only that I just tell you and let you hear from the chair, Camila Moore, I met everyone on the task force. I want to give them praise. You're only going to hear it on Big C Sports. They won't do it on ESPN because they're afraid to stand up for what their ancestors went through, and they're afraid to stand up for what they are going through to this day and for future generations of descendants of child of slavery. They don't have the same courage that California Senator Stephen Bradford has and that Big C Sports has. You either lead, follow, get out of the way. I want to give praise to the chairwoman, Camila Moore. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Amos C. Brown, the vice chair. He's brilliant. And he's also come on the Big C Sports podcast. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I've met with him many times in his office. I want to give praise to Council Member Monica Montgomery-Stepper. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones-Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to our attorney, Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. Part of the California Reparations Task Force. I love giving them praise. Give them praise, praise, praise. Because they are doing something about it. That's important to me. I want to give praise to myself. Big C Sports, part of the California National Black Wall Street Project, Northern California co-chapter. That's important. I'm going to give praise to Double O, also part of the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. I want to give praise to Brother Liam Shabazz, co-chair of the National Black Wall Street Project, also owner of Crescent Sports Media. Double O has her own economics and religious talk show called Let's Eat. Love giving her praise. You can hear that on Access Sacramento. And at the same time, as I say, I'm doing a commercial. I'm doing a commercial for Big C Sports Podcast. And the RDC team, unlike many programs that do their programs 29 takes, and they try to take the best one, I do my commercials live, just like I sing my ABC. And just like singing the cause for reparations, and you hear that Senate Bill 1403 just passed yesterday by the California Senate. Oh, they don't believe no reparations. Well, as people are saying, touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. LeBron James for 3. Get the hole, yes. Imagine what's happening for descendants of child of slavery, and only by the smart people. There's a lot of people with their heads in the sand, and they can't wait to play with the balls. Well, Senator Bradford's using the ball of his pen, if that makes sense to you. I have my own commercial, A Guide to Protect, Preserve, and Transfer Wealth Resource Development Consulting, in conjunction with the law offices of Scott Thibodeau and attorney George Jones, The Missing Link, Long-Term Care Solutions by the Book, over 3 decades of experience helping seniors get their benefits, Medicare and You, Taking Care of Tomorrow, Medi-Cal in California, some places it's called Medicaid. Your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. Find out your options. Our promise to you, specialized to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down. All paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescriptions, medical equipment costs, and more. Do you know anyone that's ever dealt with skilled nursing facilities? You know anyone who's ever dealt with prescriptions? You know anyone who's ever dealt with medical equipment costs? Protection of your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. That's important. Avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program. Any one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. You know, the government, if you don't have your trust in order, they have something called probate. And believe me, they love when you don't have your affairs in order. Because when you go and deal with a probate, they will show up and make sure they got a will for you. You got to have a trust. That's what I love doing with the RDC team. And the fact that I'm so pro on reparations, you had to hear that the California Senate had an 8-1 vote, and yes, Senate Bill 1403 yesterday. As we were standing up for the basketball games and standing up for the tip-off and getting ready for the NFL draft. And I wonder what white mainstream media thinks of black folks get on TV and don't even talk about it. Something that would benefit not only what our ancestors were robbed of, but what our future generation will receive. Without their help, imagine, I would be so foolish if they said, well, we voted down Senate Bill 1403. In fact, we even voted down the recommendation from the task force of reparations. I would say, see, I told you, Big C, you're wasting your time. You must be out of your boggin' mind. But I'm not out of my boggin' mind, according to Spock in Star Trek. And I'm still doing my commercial. Asset protection. Insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal, planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance, pre-planning, and avoid the look-back period, fixed assets, bank account, checking account, savings account, money market account, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, fixed indexed annuities, variable assets, real estate, qualified money, IRA, 401k, and other investments. Avoid capital gains. You buy a house for $100,000, and in 1 year it appreciates to $1 million. According to some real estate brokers, that's at $900,000 capital gains. You avoid that with a trust. Over 3 decades of experience. Attention business owners, find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Me let this straight. I love doing that with Big C Sports Podcast. So that's my commercials. It sounds more like an infomercial, Big C. But why would someone listen to you? Who endorses that, Big C? I'm glad you asked. I'm telling you, I'm so passionate about what just happened with the California Senate yesterday because I've been pushing on reparations. And Freedmen Affairs is the one agency that will make sure that people can trace their legacy for reparations. Without that, there'd be no more push for reparations. So it happened yesterday. That's more important than anything you can think about when it comes to playing sports. And I'm so proud of that. And when it comes to the RDC team, with the Big C team, the endorsements, Mr. George Jones, Esquire, Mr. Scott Thibodeau, George Jones, chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce and California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. You know, they care more about reparations than they do about who won a game. Mr. Leon Woods, resource development consultant, also works with the top lobbyists in California. Miss Cheryl Brown, she's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. She endorses the RDC team. Mr. Ray De La Cruz, CEO of Resource Development Consulting, has the endorsement of the former CalPERS chief legal mind, the late Robert Carlson. He endorsed the RDC team. Mr. Alex De La Cruz, founder of American Veteran Benefits, and the Big C team, business development consultant with RDC. And the Big C team, you got to give that some praise. You got to give it praise. And members of the California Reparations Task Force, they know that we got to have a trust in place. If not, the probate will try to take it all. You got to understand, it's a very big moment for California, but you won't hear about it on mainstream because they're not interested in what's happening with the RDC team. I also want to give praise to the Associated Press. What's the Associated Press, Big C? I'm glad you asked. It's the largest and oldest media outlet in the United States. You know, they did an article on Big C Sports Podcast. It said California Reparations, March 30, 2023, Charlton Courier, Sacramento, California. who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports podcast, that cash payments are necessary and that money talks. And now we have Senate Bill 1403 passing yesterday. That means yes. I'm telling you, it's going in the right direction. It's going in the right direction, folks. That to me is so important. I'm very proud of it. I want to thank Double O, part of the PAC Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She had sent me Executive Article 13985 last year on further enhancing economic recovery and support for depressed communities. That's the Black Americans, communities of color. And she has her own economics awareness talk show called Let's Eat. Really proud of her. And also she sent me an article from the United Nations that says strong will and political will to support are imperative for reparations in the United States. And everybody pushes for that. But there are times when the athletes and the entertainers, they say nothing. So as the bill passed through, I just want to say I'm so proud of that. And Brother Aleem Shabazz, President of Sports Media, he actually recorded the final reparations meeting at the Secretary of State building in California. May lightning strike! I'm so proud of what happened in California. It's more important than any game. And imagine when more and more people start talking about it. I'm going to get into some NBA basketball also. We have, imagine when they start looking at the same things that matter to all descendants of child of slavery. Today's basketball game, we had the Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. And that game's in Boston. Boston's favored by 14.5 points. The over-under is 205. And then you have the New Orleans Pelicans. They're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. The OKC Thunder is favored by 7.5 points. The over-under is 211. So no matter what happens in those games tonight, the biggest thing that happened for the descendants of child of slavery in California is the passing of Senate Bill 1403 to create Freedmen's Agency in California. As we're standing up for the tip-off and trying to light the beam, none of those light the beam people are going to go down to support Senator Bradford. He's not that far from Golden One Center in California. Not that far, maybe 3 or 4 blocks away. Maybe 5 blocks away. I think the Capitol building's on 12th Street or 10th Street, and Golden One Center's on 5th Street, so about 5 blocks away. You would think they'd go over and support him. But for some reason, somebody told our black man, shut up! And instead of honoring a senator who's trying to make sure their ancestry is taken care of, they just shut up. It's a shame. At the same time, people do what they want to do. You either lead or follow or get out of the way. So OKC, they're up 1-0 over the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round of the Western Conference. The LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. That series tied at 1 apiece. Dallas got the win last night. Minnesota goes up 2-0 over Phoenix, and Minnesota looking pretty good. Denver up 2-0 over the LA Lakers. They play again tomorrow at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Boston's playing Miami right now, but they lead that series 1-0. Cleveland, they're up 2-0 over the Orlando Magic. Milwaukee and Indiana, they're tied at 1 game apiece. Indiana got the win last night. And the New York Knicks, they're up 2-0 over the Philadelphia 76ers. And Philadelphia is taking that series back to Philadelphia. And Joel Embiid says they're going to get the win. I don't know if they're going to get the win or not, but I know they're going to try. I got one more thing to touch on, too, before I get into what's going on with the NFL draft, which is really important. It was April 22nd that Evanston, Illinois, Reparations Committee announced its funds to be moved to America's largest black-owned bank. May lightning strike! Think about that, to America's largest black-owned bank. And in Evanston, Illinois, the Reparations Fund money is going to be held at Liberty Bank. And that's one of the largest black-owned banks in the United States. And the Reparations Committee Chair Robin Rue Simmons announced that they're going to start with $17 million to be transferred to the financial institution for residents of Illinois in the Illinois city of Evanston. So the fund was created to support several initiatives like the restorative housing program to increase home ownership and intergenerational equity among its black residents. And Simmons said the measure will provide more support for businesses and homeowners. You got to give that some praise. That's better than touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. So I'm impressed with that, and I'm proud of that black residents and even good white folks are trying to do the right thing. It's a start. It's a start. So for people that say, oh, they're not going to do anything for reparations, those people, you can ignore them because they've been wrong. But there's good people in this country that are doing the right thing. Imagine when President Biden catches on. Imagine when he catches on. Think about that. Imagine when he catches on, what that's going to do for descendants of child slavery. And reparations will stimulate the economy. It's not just about black folks. People spend money when they have money. If you think that reparations are not necessary because what happened in the past, they lack a strike. Remember, former President Donald Trump is on trial now because of what he did in the past. Because of what he did in the past. And they said he has to pay. If he has to pay, then why not the country pay for what happened to the descendants of child slavery? We didn't get a part of the Homestead Act that gave over 300 million acres of land away to white people. And even white Europeans. Man, can't you just tell me who on the game can see? And that's part of the problem. What if we got even more of our black men and women to think like Harriet Tubman, who led the way for the Underground Railroad to get away from slavery? A beautiful, intelligent black woman. It is hard to find people on TV that are multiple millionaires that even have her courage and vision. And she was running for her life. In your life. But she did it. And we're just asking people to have that same courage that a beautiful, intelligent, older black woman had in trying to do what's right for our people. It is hard to find them right now. But I'm going to do my part anyway to make sure that I stand up for people doing the right thing. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I do want to talk a little bit about the NFL draft because it starts tomorrow. And even though none of them will talk about reparations because somebody told them, shut up! And they listen. But there are people saying that Jeremiah Daniels is the real deal, and they have their own thoughts about it. But with the Chicago Bears set to make the first overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft on Thursday, the NFL Network analyst and former NFL scout Daniel Jeremiah provides a final prospect ranking on his thoughts. But as Big C Sports, I have my own thoughts. I would ask most of our beautiful, intelligent black men to start championing. If you're afraid to talk about reparations, at least support the people who are not afraid, like the Harriet Tubman Award. A beautiful, intelligent black woman that championed to free slaves, and she risked her life in your life. Think about that when you see our big, beautiful, intelligent black men who are afraid. And beautiful, intelligent black women too, they say nothing. Somebody told them, shut up. I won't shut up. And I'm proud of California Senator Stephen Bradford. Back to the NFL, Caleb Williams. He's a USC quarterback. I can say former quarterback now. And he's average height and weight and muscular build. He's a natural thrower. And he delivers the ball with accuracy, velocity from a variety of platforms. His arm angles, he's like the new Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. He can power the ball into tight windows while stationary or on the move like touchdown Patrick Mahomes. He can also finesse the ball when needed. And he has lightning quick hands. And he's a dynamic runner and makes defenders look silly at times in space. He can run by you, he can run through you or make you miss. He did fall into USC sometimes some bad habits at trying to extend plays too far when he should have maybe just gotten rid of the ball or tucked it away and run. But he was a young player. In the NFL, he's going to get some good coaching. I think he's going to be a star football player in the NFL if the Bears do take him first. The Bears are who we thought they were. You want to crown them, crown them. Well, we'll talk about that. The Bears are also building a new football stadium. They just need $5 billion. If that makes sense to you. But I think Caleb Williams, he's my first pick as a first round draft pick in the NFL. And also another player that is considered maybe a number 2 pick, Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State, a wide receiver. He has the ideal size and speed and production. And a lot of people say they love his power. He's built like a power forward. He plays with a blend of physicality and explosiveness. He uses his upper body strength to power through press coverage, and he's a smooth, fluid route runner, and he closes the cushion quickly. He gets on his toes and gets quarterbacks out of sync, and he's a great player. He's going to be a star in the NFL, in my opinion. I just hope that he champions reparations and do like the Harriet Tubman. I'm just trying to find some beautiful, intelligent black men and women to honor Harriet Tubman because she tried to free slaves, and she was risking her life to do it. And now we have people who are afraid to even honor those who are not afraid. It can't just be me. I'm so emboldened by what happened with Senator Stephen Bradford, the passing of Senate Bill 1403 in California to create Freedmen's Agency. Oh my, I'm just so proud of it. Back to the NFL draft, Rome Odunze, a University of Washington Husky wide receiver. He's a senior. He's a big athletic wideout. He has exceptional hands. He can play outside or the inside of the slot. He's refined and polished. He can do everything. He can make the long catch downfield. He can do the cutback. He can also run the ball out of the backfield if you need him to do that. He's like a Deebo Samuel of the 49ers, a little bit bigger, a little bit faster. He's refined. He can do everything. He uses a variety of releases at the line of scrimmage to get open in a clean route runner. He uses his strength to lean into defenders before separating out of the break point. I think he's going to be great in the NFL. I just hope that he champions reparations. And don't be afraid to champion reparations. We championed apartheid to liberate South Africa. The whole world did. Imagine doing the same thing for reparations. And now you can stand behind Senate Bill 1403 that passed with an 8-1 vote in California to create Freedmen's Affairs Bureau. Isn't that something? I got to go back to the NFL. Malik Neighbors, LSU wide receiver, a junior. He is a dynamic receiver with outstanding competitiveness and production. He explodes off the line of scrimmage. His release created immediate separation. He sets up defenders before snapping off of his route. And he isn't afraid to work in the middle of the field like great Michael Irvin did for the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. He has strong hands to finish throughout contact. And when working back to the quarterback, he's like Jerry Rice. He's sure-handed. He prefers to get the ball and travel into his body. His drops are very limited. He can get low balls off the turf. And I think he's going to be great, Neighbors, in the NFL. That's what I think. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. And then another great player. I hope he's not afraid to champion reparations, especially coming out of LSU. Another player out of LSU, quarterback, a senior, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels played at Arizona State. He's a tall, lean quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner, with exceptional accuracy. Reminds me so much of Russell Wilson, a little bit faster. His decision-making and speed is very poised and comfortable in the pocket, and he likes to use a rhythm bounce at the top of his drop before settling his feet onto the ground and smoothly transferring his weight to throw the ball downfield. He has extremely quick release and beautiful throwing motion. He throws with anticipation, touch, and accuracy. He flashes with the ability to manipulate safeties with his eyes to create separation down the field. And when he gets pressured, he's a lot like touchdown Patrick Mahomes. He can get away from the blitz, and I like the way he's composed in the backfield. He does not hesitate to explode out of the pocket like a Lamar Jackson. He has elite suddenness. He's more of a linear speed runner than a breakdown runner and make you miss type of ball carrier. He needs to do a better job protecting himself, I think. At the same time, may lack the strike. He's going to be great in the NFL. But what I love about Daniels, coming out of LSU down in the South, where slavery was huge, I hope he's not afraid to champion reparations. Because we need some more beautiful, intelligent black men to not be afraid to do that. If they're afraid, look to the West Coast in California with the Reparations Task Force, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He did a lot for a lot of us because reparations will stimulate the economy. You got to know that. I got to go back to the NFL draft. Brock Bowers, Georgia University, a tight end, a junior, out of Napa High School in Northern California. He's an undersized tight end with elite speed, strength, and playmaking ability. He lined up all over the field at Georgia, in line, in the wing, in the split out, and even at running back, he's very sudden in his release, and he uses his upper body strength to chuck defenders when pressed at the line of scrimmage, a lot like touchdown Travis Kelce for the Kansas City Chiefs. He catches a lot of quick hitters in the flat. He's also a maniac on screens. He attacks the ball in the air with his quick transition up the field, and he has the speed to pull away, but his greatest asset, is his tackle breaking power. He runs through contact without gearing down. And he's an effective run blocker when he can get his hands on opponents. I think he's a lot like Travis Kelce, and some people say he reminds them of George Kittle, and that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I got another player that I want to bring in when you think about Torian Arnold, Alabama cornerback. He's a sophomore, and when you think about this young man, he has the ideal size, the play speed, and instincts for the position. He plays both outside and inside at the nickel, and is effective in press and off coverage. He's fluid to open up and mirror press. He also has plenty of speed to stay in phase on deep balls from off coverage. He has a quick and smooth pedal, and he doesn't waste his steps on his plant drive. He's also effective at making good blocking downfield when he doesn't have the ball. I love the way he plays, and I think this guy's a ball hawk. He's going to do great. That good boy coming out of Alabama, you know he's poised to make a good impact in the NFL. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. I want to bring it to another great player. This time on the offensive side of the ball, offensive tackle Troy Fautnell. He's an explosive left tackle prospect for the Washington Huskies. He has average height in a thick square build with long arms and pro pass. He's a very easy mover. He blends well as pass blocking and run blocking. He's direct, smoothly, and nasty helper when uncovered. His biggest issue is when he gets over aggressive and loses off his balance trying to pummel pass rushers instead of playing with more patience. In the run game, he can get under defenders and uproot them at the point of attack. I think he's going to be very explosive on the offensive line for who chooses him. I want to bring you another player that I think is going to be very good that many people may not think about when it comes to NFL football, and I hope that he champions reparations. I want to bring you Dallas Turner out of Alabama. He's an edge rusher, a junior. He's a long, athletic edge rusher with excellent production and an intriguing set of skills as a pass rusher, a lot like, in my opinion, Lawrence Taylor. Oh, Big C, Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, a lot like Lawrence Taylor, the NFL great. He has a quick first step and wins a lot of reps by stabbing with his inside arm and then collapsing on the offensive tackle outside shoulder. He can also blend well. He can wrap and flatten out. Once he gets his hands on the ball carrier, he's very sure at tackling. I really like the way he plays. He's inconsistent at times with his pure bull rush, but the longer the runway before contact, the more success he'll find. I think against the run, he can be very physical on the edge, and he can split blocks to make plays at the line of scrimmage. I really like what he did at Alabama. We'll see if he can get things more done in the NFL. Well, that's just some of my thought on Big C's NFL prospects. And coming from Alabama, I hope he champions reparations now. Reparations forever in your life. Get the hole. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to stand up for reparations. I really do appreciate these great, beautiful, intelligent athletes that are now going to get their chance to play NFL football at the highest level. There's no guarantee they make the team. But the fact that they are out there on the team, that to me is very impressive, because you got to be in the game in order to make a splash in the world of NFL football. And the fact may lightning strike, that good boy's going to get the game. I love that about him. So don't be afraid to get to the next level. And when you do, I hope that our beautiful, intelligent athletes, they don't forget about someone who did everything, gave his life to make sure we have our freedom. And I want to play one of the greatest speakers in the history of the United States of America. Now, you just heard that Senate Bill 1403 passed in California to create Freedmen's Agency. And that's the track who gets paid for reparations. And that was commissioned and put in on pen to paper by California Senator Stephen Bradford. But for you good old boys playing touchdown, home run, three-point play, old man Willie, he's going all the way. I want you to think about the greatest speaker in the history of this country and what he thought on reparations and why you should too.
Martin Luther King, we had a conversation a couple days ago about handouts and how these right-wing memes, these Republican memes, have infiltrated the Democratic debate to suggest that, ending welfare as we know it, all those kind of things are somehow, great and noble things, when we're not dealing with the underlying problem, which is that there's no economic opportunity there because of insane trade policies and because of Reaganomics. And Martin Luther King spoke to this. Jim and Shane, this is clip number 4. Martin Luther King spoke to this, sometime back in the early 60s. And I thought this was a really interesting quote. Here he is.
Before you hear the quote, President Donald Trump is on trial for what he was alleged to do in the past. And now they're asking him to pay for what he did in the past. Listen to Dr. King on what this country did in the past.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
From his speech, The Two Nations of Black America. And it's absolutely brilliant. And the next time some white person talks about, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and my family did too, especially the Bundy boys. I mean, here's Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., talking about how basically whites stole the West from the Indians with the complete, and didn't just steal it. I mean, murdered them, he murdered the Indians in the process, and did not give any of these benefits to African Americans for 100 years in this country. It's a strong case for reparations or some variation on it, for rebuilding our cities, for doing right after having done wrong for so many centuries. It is a very, very strong case for that.
In your life, get the hole! Think about that for those of you who say, oh, we don't need to pay no reparations. That happened a long time ago. Donald Trump's on trial now for what he's accused of doing a long time ago. Think about that when it comes to paying reparations. And think about that when you get a touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. I know you love the game. I want to say good luck to everybody going for the NFL draft, NBA playoff. In your life, get the hole. LeBron James for 3. Yes! In your life. In your life, Senate Bill 1403 passed yesterday in California to Great Freedmen's Bureau. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you on every Basic Sports podcast, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car after they've been drinking and driving the life you say maybe your own or someone you love. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, that's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to put up with that crap on their own. If you know anybody going up beside your head, I only hit you because you made me mad. I only slapped you because you made me mad. Call 911. I only choked you because you made me mad. No man, woman, or child should ever have to put up that crap. Call 911 and let them deal with it. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to champion reparations now, reparations forever. In your life, get the hole, yes! I just love that. It makes me feel so good. Senate Bill 1403 passed 8-1 in California to create Freedmen's Bureau. Isn't that something? The bank to pay out reparations. You got to give that some praise. Give it praise, praise, praise. I want to give praise to my beautiful family legacy on my mother's side, my great-grandparents. my grandparents, my beautiful mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful father, my grandparents, and my father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, always saying, develop your mind to its highest extent. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd, with that bombastic voice, still like thunder and lightning. When Todd would speak, always saying, go forward. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years. You can be anything you want to be, Daisy. Always trust God. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And Google Freedman's Agency, because it passed yesterday, and your daddy's been talking about it when people say, you a fool! Talk about reparations. You can be anything you want to be. And then my beautiful, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart. Erudite, a good man. You can be anything you want to be, Malcolm. Always trust God. Always do the best thing you can in life. Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be, son. In Google Senate Bill 1403, Freedmen's Bureau, your daddy's been talking about it too. And then Big C with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. SB nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3 teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. But what I want to do, I want to honor Senate Bill 1403 in Freedmen's Bank that was created back in 1865 by President Abraham Lincoln in Congress. It just passed in California. Let's honor what President Abraham Lincoln started in California. Senator Stephen Bradford wants to finish. Reparations now, reparations forever. Come on, you can say it like a team just won the game. Say it loud and proud. Say reparations now, reparations forever. Come on, say it one more time like your heart, mind, body, and soul believes in it. Senate Bill 1403 just passed yesterday in California to create Freedmen's Bureau. You got to believe it's real. I want to say reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.